Number 4, Bills.
They suck. People are jumping on their hype train again. I am not making that mistake. Do not trust the Bills. Luke.
I have poisoned the minds of Bills fans.
Luke broke me.
Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the All-Star Trio podcast, fresh off of a week for the holidays. As always, I am your host, Nick, joined as always by my co-host, Luke.
First episode of 2022.
And our moderator, Tori.
Hello, welcome, 2022!
Tori, kick us off.
All right, starting with football.
No.
Oklahoma bowl game. Let's talk about that.
Bias.
What?
Bias.
Bias. Okay, clearly we won. If for those of you who didn't watch, we won. Let's talk about it. Was there bias between refs? What was going on with that game?
Oregon was fake, and I called it in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I stand on that take.
That's pretty much all.
Points as they did is because Oklahoma's defense gave up in the second half.
I mean, that's pretty much what I was going to say. The way Oklahoma played that game, in my opinion, proved that Oregon was never better than us. And they were consistently ranked higher than us. So, I don't know. I think Big 12 should have been taken more seriously this year. I think the Oklahoma bowl game proves it. I think the OK State Baylor game will prove it.
Just hang on, because Oklahoma State's getting its butt handed to them by Notre Dame right now. So
my grandfather's actually watching that game.
So
I just had to leave.
Calm down there.
let's not get too excited.
Still embarrassed us.
Just focus on OU.
I don't know, man. All that Oklahoma bowl game proved to me is that the committee consistently misranks these teams. If you're not Alabama and Georgia, you're going to get misranked, and that's just how it is.
Fair enough. All right. Next question. Could COVID decide the Final Four?
No.
Yes, it can.
They could. It's not going to.
Okay, that's not the question. The question is, could it? And it can. The committee's new rule is if you have too many COVID cases, you're going through a COVID time, you forfeit. We've already seen multiple bowl games ended because they've had to forfeit due to COVID. If all of a sudden there's a big outbreak in Georgia, they're done.
Yes, but COVID has decided the vast minority of bowl games so far. I don't think I hadn't heard about Georgia having a COVID outbreak, so I don't know if they are or not. But at this point, I'm not worried about the championship game.
So you say you're not worried about it, but is there still a possibility?
Oh, well, yeah, there's always going to be a possibility. For the question, could COVID decide it? Yes. Will it? I don't think so.
Fair enough. All right, let's review the conference finals.
All right, I'm going to start with Cincinnati. First off, I'm not that mad about it.
No, there's nothing to be mad about.
For some of the time when their run game looked like they deserved, their pass game looked like they deserved. It just happened that their quarterback didn't look like he needed to be there, and their O-line got manhandled the whole game.
They played Alabama.
And then their line could not handle the run game at all. Like, if they had stopped the run at some point, and if they had gotten some of those passes that got deflected at the line, definitely could have been a much closer game. The main thing I'm looking at is that Alabama barely looked like they deserved to be there. Like, yeah, they scored a lot of points, but they didn't score well that first half. And then in the second half, Bryce Young was pretty much a non-factor. Like, it was all run game. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed by Alabama. My thing is that they're going to look at Cincinnati's loss, say they only scored 6 points, they don't deserve to be there. And I disagree. They looked really good. They just kind of look like they're in a place that they haven't been before because they haven't. No team in that division has. It is literally the Final Four, the first team that they've ever had from a non-Power 5. They were in a place they have never been before.
Yeah, they played Alabama. Like
Alabama every year.
Alabama's a team that consistently demolishes their semifinal opponents, no matter who it is. And honestly, Cincinnati played them pretty well. So I'm not upset about anything. I don't think Cincinnati should be either. That was a good game. I think that bodes well for the future.
I mean, if we want to talk about disappointments, let's talk about freaking Michigan. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Dude, keep it close. Like, I had hope for them this game. The country had hope. Nobody wanted an SEC finals rematch. Nobody wants Georgia, Alabama. Come on, Michigan. Like, Michigan was supposed to have a chance. They played top teams. They impressed people with their records. No.
I slept on that game as hard as that Michigan fan on the field side did.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
I watched like the first 2 drives and watched Georgia punch them in the face and just turned it off.
We kept up with it a little bit, and then we saw how bad it was getting, and we binged Cobra Kai. So, yeah, slept on that game. It's bad. It's bad.
I just want to quickly go back to Cincy. Their quarterback, I forget his name right now, but he's supposed to be a top draft pick quarterback. I wasn't impressed by him at all. Like, he missed a lot of coverages. He wasn't dialing up the deep ball, and he couldn't seem to get it over the defensive line. He got swatted like 4 times, I believe, that game. I was just not. He's supposed to be a mobile quarterback, and he wasn't moving around. He was kind of sitting in the pocket, took big sacks. I just wasn't impressed by him at all.
You're thinking of Desmond Ridder, I think.
Yeah, that's who it is.
I don't know. It was at least one of the semifinals was a good game. For the championship, the SEC rematch, I'm
not watching.
I mean, we'll watch, but I don't know. What we said about Alabama, we said earlier in the year that they didn't look impressive, and then they beat Georgia and got number 1. So I would be careful saying Alabama doesn't look impressive at any point anymore. But that being said, I do think Georgia wins the championship. I think they looked more impressive against supposedly a better team.
Yeah.
And I think in a rematch, they have more to prove.
I'm going to keep up with the game by either people posting Georgia memes about Georgia being in the lead and blowing big leads and re-see the Atlanta Falcons thing.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be Alabama memes about how Alabama was supposed to be bad this year and they're blowing out. So
either way, it's not good.
Okay. Moving on. Tori.
NBA.
Boo. Boo.
Come on, professional podcast. We're off 1 week and this is where we're at. Come on.
And you're starting the new year off on the wrong foot.
For real, you didn't even clap. All right,
You're starting on 2 feet.
Most disappointing team not named the Lakers.
Okay, I feel like I have to specify this. I feel like if I put when I made this plan, if I had put most disappointing team, we both would have just said Lakers. So
besides the Lakers,
second most disappointing team.
Second most.
Okay.
Who is the most
Luke,
yeah.
You go first.
Okay, so I figured this would be a team you didn't talk about. So I'm going to say the Pelicans. And it's not just because of what's going on with Zion.
You're
right?
darn right. I did not say them.
Yeah.
The Pelicans.
Yeah.
Freaking 2K cheat codes.
They've got Jones, Murphy, who are 2 rookies, and Herbert Jones just had like a career night like 3 days ago. Kid played out of his mind. But the problem with the Pelicans is that without a guy like Zion, who's been in the league and like should be a superstar, the team's got nothing going for them. They apparently the team ranks like 4th in the league in rebounds per game, but they just can't score because they just don't have that veteran shot on their team, despite how good their rookies play. Cleveland, that by the way, it was the Cleveland game where Jones put up his amazing numbers. So despite that, they're good rookies. The players they're supposed to be depending on, like Brandon Ingram, Zion, they're not there for the team. So what are the Pelicans supposed to do now? You know, I think there should be a bright future for that team, but the way I see it, if they don't get those veteran guys back, there's just not going to be. They can get as many rebounds as they want, but if they're not scoring, they're not going to win.
I just want to point out that the only player on that team that's been playing well is Jonas Valanciunas. He's their center. He's like 4th in the league in rebounds right now. He's amazing. He has like the most 3-point. He hit like 10 threes at some point in the beginning of this year. Dude's been a great center. Brandon Ingram, yeah, he's been disappointing. Devontae Graham's he's hit like 3 game winners this year for no reason. And I honestly think Zion might go down as one of the biggest busts in NBA history if he can't get his weight under control. He
I
can very
don't
much
know what's going on.
he can very much be like a Joel Embiid, where he starts off, misses a couple of years, and then comes back and is an all-star. I definitely could see that. At the same time, he can't get healthy. He can't control his weight. I mean, like, he very much could be like a Greg Oden, where he came in with like huge stats, played super well as a rookie, and then just fell off.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the team they have a
so much
path,
talent.
right?
Yes, so much
Yeah.
talent.
They have
So
a
much
path to be a good team.
They won't
But-
do it.
Exactly. For what it's worth, the players that are injured, unavailable for whatever reason, it's not working for the Pelicans, and that's why they're my disappointing team this time.
My disappointing team is the Trailblazers, who are the second worst team in the West right now. The second worst team. Despite Damian Lillard putting up 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists, shooting 40% from the field and 32% from 3. He's putting up good numbers. CJ McCollum's been hurt. I get that. That team sucks. They're so bad defensively. They have no supporting cast. No one there is putting up good numbers besides Dame.
Their
Like,
away
CJ
record is awful.
Oh yeah, they can't play away from home. And for how much they went in about like Dame being, I trust the process, I trust this team, we're going to do good this year. No, you're not. And you're not doing good. You've been a huge, monumental disappointment. And at this point, it kind of seems like they should trade Dame. Like at this point, they might as well just rebuild. Their record can't get worse. I mean,
True.
they're in
Well,
they're in
that's
the
not
fight for a
true.
lottery pick right now.
They could be 0-5 in their division instead of 1-4. It could be worse.
The Trailblazers are so disappointing this year. At this point, I'm honestly, if I'm the Trailblazers, I'm thinking of trading Dame because his value is very high right now. Your team sucks. At this point, you kind of just have to rebuild. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants to play there. It's not working. The entire front office is in discord. Your players are constantly getting hurt. You have no young stars. You're kind of stuck. And it's just been such a disappointing year that I honestly think the Trailblazers are at that point where they just need to rebuild.
Going back to what Nick said, what trades might come up as we get close to the deadline?
Well, you talked about a Dame trade. Do you have any potential landing spots?
Dame, yes, I do actually. The Celtics. I am still very high on that Damian Lillard for Jaylen Brown trade. I am still, for some reason, I have a nagging suspicion that the Celtics might trade Jaylen Brown. If not for Dame, for somebody. I just have this nagging thought in the back of my head that he's not going to be there very long. And a trade for Dame would make a lot of sense because it would give the Trailblazers a good piece to start building around in Jaylen Brown, who's a great two-way player. And the Celtics get Dame, who is putting up good numbers. He's staying healthy. He trusts the process. He can teach younger guys, and he'd be that veteran presence that team might really need. And then
I could see that. Yeah.
We got Le GM already trading away Rajon Rondo to the Hawks. I don't know if that's a final trade yet, but it was definitely.
I don't think it is.
Le GM's gonna go crazy. This is gonna be a very interesting one because like the trades are you gonna trade Westbrook? Are you gonna trade Anthony Davis? There's talks that LeBron might even trade himself to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are actually doing really good this year. Like, if he built this huge super team in LA and then traded himself away, I'm sorry, but dude, what a schmuck at that point to build this super team, to build this roster. You can say what you want about him playing well right now. Yes, he's playing super well, but at the same time, you built this super team. This is the team you want. You wanted these veterans, and it's not working. But moving off the LeBron slander, Anthony Davis slander now. He sucks. And it's too injured too often on too huge a contract to get traded. Russell Westbrook's the only one actually helping him any, and he's probably going to be gone.
Yeah. But Lakers aside, going back to the Damian Lillard trade. So in 2021, Dame has played 29 games and is averaging 24 points. and is shooting like 40 from field goal.
Mhm.
Jaylen Brown has played 22, is averaging 23 points, and is shooting 44 in field goal percentage. Those are honestly pretty close numbers, even though Jaylen has played less games. So
What I would be looking at for that,
I hate making up trade scenarios, man. I hate it.
what I'm looking at with that trade right there is who's getting more pressure than Dame on the court. There's no one else on that court with him that's getting as much attention as Dame is. Dame's numbers can be further down. Now imagine he's on the same court as Tatum, like Jaylen Brown is.
Yeah. That is
That's
a
more
much
pressure.
better cast around him.
Exactly. It'd be a much better cast. He'd be getting less attention. I think he'd play better. But
I mean, I've said this before. I don't like making up these trades, especially not for my team, because I always want to build around what we got. But the Celtics just beat the Suns, might I add. We just beat Phoenix.
oh, calm down. It's one regular season game.
I know. But I say that because I still think there is a chance that Boston becomes a powerhouse. I really, really do. And I want to believe that with the guys we have, we don't need to make a blockbuster trade to get there. But what you've said about Brown, I think there are two front runners for a Boston trade. I think it's Enes Freedom and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I think Enes would go way before Brown, just because Brown is way more, I don't want to say valuable, but he's like one of the most complete players in the league, and he has been balling out like every year since he's been here.
Yeah, and he's like, what, 24, 25?
Exactly, he's young.
Star.
But
I mean, I think we're both getting distracted here. Ben Simmons is still on the 76ers. Why is he still there?
Oh, okay, before we move on, I want to say there's also Marcus Smart. On-ball defenders are super valuable. I think
everything's offense at this point in the league. Nobody cares about defense.
Well, if you were, Marcus Smart is one of the best on-ball defenders, but
definitely. But the issue is, who wants that? What value does Marcus Smart's like? What, 28, 29? He's almost into his 30s. He's
still a good ball player is the problem. He might be the piece that any team like struggling in that department should get, because he's that good defensively. And I think with another, like we've been saying, the right supporting cast, he's still going to produce offensively. But I don't know. Look, I'm not the Celtics. As much as I love Boston, I'm not the front office, right? I'm not the GM. I don't make that decision. So if they do make a trade, I could see Brown going. I could see Enes Freedom going. Despite how complete a player Brown is, and despite his three-point shot, maybe that's the piece that goes.
See, my interest is, if you're going to go get Marcus Smart, you might as well try to talk to the 76ers at getting in Matisse Thybulle, who just finished second team all defense as a bench player, averaged over a block and over, I think it was like 2 steals a game. Great bench player, great defensive player, can't score on offense to save his life. Like, this guy locked up Steph Curry and kept him down to like 3 threes in a game. Like, anytime you can get a defender like that, a 6'5" big guy, go for Matisse. Don't go for freaking Marcus Smart. Matisse is also like 25. He's much younger. But
yeah, don't go for Marcus Smart. I like Marcus Smart.
Let's hear y'all's thoughts on all of the players coming in due to COVID. Luke, how about we start with you?
I say let the floodgates open. You know what? In the league we got, in the state of it, if you got a 3-point shot and you've proven yourself before, come on back. We'll take you.
I mean, so many veterans. So many. Like, so many guys are just getting calls and are coming into play. Like Isaiah Thomas on the Mavericks. He wasn't even ready. Like, he got the call, flew to Sacramento to meet with the team, and played that game. Like, we got veterans coming out of the wazoo. We got random guys. DeMarcus Cousins back in the league. Joe Johnson's back in the league. I think it's like we're at like 151 players who have played this year or who have been added this year. COVID's screwing up a lot. But man, this is how we know how washed some people are. Because at this point, if you're a veteran and you're not getting a phone call to join a team, like at this point, you just need to realize that you weren't good.
Oof.
Like, there's
Rest
something
in
to
peace, those guys. Ugh.
At this point, if your phone isn't getting 3 or 4 teams calling you, like what are you doing? Like Greg Monroe is back in the team on the Timberwolves. And in his first interview, he was literally like, "Oh yeah, we had this one guy ball out for him," and he like pulled out a piece of paper, looked down the list, said, "This guy," said the name, said, "Sorry, I don't know these guys yet," and put the paper away. He just played a game with these guys. He doesn't even know their names. Like
Wow.
Greg Monroe. Oh my god, I remember him back in like was it 2K15 on the Bucks. The guy was like a solid rebounder, give you like 10 and 15 a game. It was ridiculous. Like that's how I know most of these players. We're from playing old 2K games. I don't actually know these people.
That's probably fair. Like that's probably fair. The Celtics just signed Joe Johnson recently. 7 times All-Star. Let's go. I like the 10-day contracts with the state of the league right now. I think, hey, if you need to bring them in.
Rest in peace, those old dudes who aren't getting calls.
Joe Johnson is 40.
Like at 40. This point, Michael Jordan might be suiting up to play with the Charlotte Hornets pretty soon. Like I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for Charlotte Hornets owner Michael Jordan suiting up with Hornets to play.
That'd be awesome.
Klay Thompson might be coming back. That's going to be big. I'm really excited for that. He's supposed to be coming back this month, i.e., this being January. Whew, weird times.
2022.
I still feel like I'm in like May. I'm not all there.
Yeah, I thought today was Sunday.
This past year, I can't say this year anymore. This past year went by so quickly. It's just insane.
God, I turned 19 soon. What is this? Luke turns 20 this year. Luke, you're freaking old. Luke is old.
I turned 20 before all of you do, though.
All right. All right. Moving on from the roast of Luke Young.
Let's move on to NFL.
Holy crap. Luke is closer in age to Marcus Smart than I am when Marcus Smart is in the league.
All right. NFL. Biggest Pro Bowl snubs.
All right. We're a week behind on this. Pro Bowls have been released.
Yeah.
But I still want to talk about some of the people who got snubbed. I.e., so one of the biggest guys I'm hearing a lot about is AJ Terrell, which my thinking with that is if you want AJ Terrell to come in, who are you going to take out? Because as much as I would love to say, the most people that you could take out is maybe Trayvon Diggs, but he leads the league in interceptions. You can't take him out. Despite his bad coverage, you can't take him out.
He's getting better at his coverage, I will say. His coverage has improved as the year's gone on.
No. Maybe Marshawn Lattimore, but he's having a solid year, so you can't get rid of him. So it's just, if you're going to take somebody out, if you're going to like replace a guy in, if you want someone to be in, you got to say somebody to take out. And I think they did the corners. I think it's the NFC corners. I think they did those pretty well. For me, the biggest snubs are both O-linemen. O-line gets no love. It is such a name game with O-linemen. Because like Orlando Brown is in, and he hasn't done crap this year. He's been an average guy. While Creed Humphrey, yes, a little bit of bias for OU, but
I was surprised Creed Humphrey didn't make it out, honestly.
Yeah, he's the number 1 ranked pass blocking center. He's like number 4 or 5 for rush blocking as a rookie on Kansas City. Like, that's a pretty big place, and he got snubbed. Lane Johnson he's allowed 2 QB pressures this year. Has not allowed a sack and allowed 2 QB pressures. Is that a little bit biased as Eagles fan? Yes, but that's ridiculous to have somebody who, I mean, come on, like, and he's caught a touchdown pass. He has more touchdowns than Kenny Galladay. Come on now. He has a touchdown reception. He's allowed 2 sacks, or 2 QB pressures, no sacks. Like, that's crazy good stats. My final guy, how is Lamar Jackson a Pro Bowler? And how is Josh Allen not?
That's a good question, honestly.
Lamar Jackson's been hurt most of the year. He's been outplayed by his backup and Tyler Huntley, Snoop. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me how Lamar Jackson made it and Josh Allen didn't. But
honestly, for Lamar Jackson, I agree. I would have probably moved him out, but Joe Burrow.
That's another guy that definitely.
That's who I would have probably replaced Lamar Jackson with. Granted, I think they made these choices before his 525-yard passing game, but
even The only reason I wouldn't say Joe Burrow is because he's tied with first in the league in interceptions right now. He has a lot of interceptions, but you get past that, he has some really good stats.
Yeah.
But
He's definitely leading the team. Like if
yeah.
if Cincinnati doesn't have him, I don't think they have much. So
I mean, they have 2 other Pro Bowlers and their running back and their rookie wide receiver, Jamar Chase. So I don't think
true.
they have nobody.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they have nobody. If they didn't have anybody besides Joe Burrow, they wouldn't be vying for the lead in their division. So
Well, that division is a shit show. So
all the
that's
AFC divisions
later
are like that.
I mean, they could lose it. The Browns can still take the division this year. Like, that's how weird that division is. There's 2 games left in the year, and the Browns can still take the division.
Yeah, that's just the
So-
AFC.
No. Anyway, all right.
So I've already talked a little bit about Joe Burrow, but my other Pro Bowl snub was actually for the NFC. Leonard Fournette. As much as I don't like Tampa Bay, he's been a big part of their offense in the second half of the season. And for the NFC Pro Bowlers, it's Dalvin Cook. Okay, deserved. Alvin Kamara. That's pretty deserved.
No.
Well, okay. I would say
Alvin Kamara should not be there.
out of Dalvin Cook, James Conner, and Alvin Kamara,
I don't
who would
think
you?
James Conner or Alvin Kamara could be. James Conner's there because he has a shite ton of touchdowns. I think he's like second in the league in touchdowns right now behind Mr. Colts running back legend.
JP.
And then Alvin Kamara is having a horrible season. Like, they're using him more as a runner this year, and it's going horrible for him. Like, he is like bottom of the league and yards above average or yards above expected. He is not being like, that's still a pretty good O-line that he has going on. It's beat up, but still a good O-line. He is not getting yards. He's not. They're not dual threading him like they usually do. He's not being used in the run and the pass like he usually is because they don't have those kind of quarterbacks. He's just down below average this year. He's not doing very well. And then James Conner just has a lot of touchdowns. But going off of what you said about Leonard Fournette, isn't he hurt for like the rest of the season?
I have no clue. Is he?
I'm pretty sure he is. He got his foot really messed up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Suffered a hamstring injury during the loss to the Saints, like at the end of December. Well, I didn't know that, but had he been healthy, I think he was probably a snub for the Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Like-
he definitely deserved to be there more than those guys. But Pro Bowl running backs, the most replaceable position in football. I don't care.
Yeah, when you get the New Orleans Saints running as a running back Pro Bowler, you know you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, Deebo Samuel could have gone in as a receiver or a running back. He's been amazing at both. So I mean, who cares at this point? Running back, replaceable. You slap a wide receiver back there, it's the same thing.
Yeah, honestly, Dalvin Cook, I'd say, was the best choice for Pro Bowl running back of the 3 that are in.
Continuing, which big time players will be on different teams next year with 2 weeks left?
Well, you see, I have this handy dandy chart that I made up because my ADHD says to do it in the middle of the night. Okay, I'm looking up here. There's a lot of quarterbacks I think are going to be gone. You think I'm joking?
No, I don't think you're
The thing
joking.
is, me and Luke, no, you're not joking. We
I made a
know.
list, and I took some blue paint construction tape and taped them to my wall. They're right here above my laptop. I have 2 pieces of paper here about teams' drafts, teams' expected players, where these quarterbacks are going. So
If you're not watching, literally, Nick puts on his glasses and you can see this list on his wall in the reflection. You can see it.
they're not that big. Most of that's my reflection from the screen.
I said you can see it. I didn't say, oh my
Okay,
gosh, I can
okay.
read every word. Calm down.
So quarterbacks, I think, are going to be gone this year. I think Jimmy G's going to be gone. I think
Agree.
Baker Mayfield's going to be traded.
Agree.
I
Where?
think
You know?
Derek Carr is going to be. I'll get there in a second. Derek Carr, I think, will be gone. Matt Ryan could be gone. Russell Wilson's going to be gone. And I think
Agree.
Kirk Cousins is going to be gone. This is going to
I
be.
don't know about Cousins. That's
This is gonna be,
interesting.
he's on his last. He's on the final year of his contract. I don't think they're going to give him another contract. So this is where I'm at with these teams. This is going to be a big offseason for quarterbacks because this draft class is horrible quarterback wise. Like, there's no big Like, there's a couple of teams that need a young guy. Like Washington, I think is going to draft a quarterback. But there's a lot of teams that I've seen here. I think the Panthers might draft a quarterback. But there's a lot of teams that are going to need a quarterback. There's going to be a big influx. Jimmy G is going to be gone. I think he's going to be replaced.
Absolutely.
I think Big Ben, he's going to retire. They're going to need a quarterback.
Agree there too.
Baker, the fans are against him. He's been injured really bad this year. The only reason I think he stays is because of that injury. Is if they decide, let's try him one more year on this injury and see what we can get out of him on the last year of his rookie contract. But he could be traded. I think he could be traded for Derek Carr or Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Because those are both. Baker's really good. I think the system he's in Cleveland is bad for him. They're very much a tight end heavy, bunch the line team. Baker is very much a spread quarterback. He's going to lose the quarterback who likes to throw it deep.
Absolutely. That's what he was the best at Oklahoma.
Exactly.
Shotgun, throw it a long way.
I kind of want him to go to Atlanta. That O-line isn't great, but Calvin Ridley was a great weapon. I forget the name of the other receiver they've had who's been going off this year. Kyle Pitts is there. He's a deep ball threat. I think him to Atlanta would be really good. I think Matt Ryan would do amazing over there in Cleveland. Did you get that veteran guy behind a good O-line with star running backs to support him? The only other guy I can see them trading for is maybe Derek Carr, but even then, I still think Baker gets Darren Waller. He doesn't really get the receiving help, but he gets Darren Waller. He gets Josh Jacobs. He gets a about average defense to help him. I could definitely see a trade for either one of those. The Russell Wilson era is over. He's gone. Russell Wilson's going to leave. I think Russell Wilson might go to the Saints. That's where I'm thinking. Because that's apparently where a lot of talks are. Because he really likes Sean Payton. That's a good O-line when it's healthy. A really good defense. Alvin Kamara. The only thing I might think, they'd have to get wide receivers. They'd have to get him some help at receiver. But I don't think he's going to go to the Eagles. Apparently he might go to the Giants, which I would find hilarious if he does do that. I don't know why he would want to, but apparently he might.
So, actually, I want to make a point about your Matt Ryan idea, because I think there's an interesting parallel between what Carson Wentz is doing in Indianapolis and what Matt Ryan could do in Cleveland if he went there.
I don't think there's a parallel there. I think Matt Ryan is a much better quarterback.
Okay, look, I do too, but I think if Matt Ryan did go to Cleveland, it's gonna in a sense allow him to do less to do more. You know?
Oh yeah, but I still think Carson Wentz is a huge liability for his team. He's cost them several games. He's also played well some games, yes, but that's the Carson Wentz experience. He's either hurting you, helping you, or he's injured. There's no in between.
Or he's getting you draft picks.
Or I mean, that's the best thing he's done for the Eagles in like 3 years. So, I have Matt Ryan as my 12th ranked quarterback. I also have a list of my QB rankings. Don't judge me here. He's my number 12 quarterback. I have Derek Carr as my number 11 quarterback. Baker this year is 22nd for me of his play this year and the year before. I think that's a big boost for them, and I think they would go for that trade. Then the Falcons and the Raiders don't have to draft a quarterback now. You get a young quarterback who's proven that he can do well. He's just been hurt. He's been beat up. So we'll see.
I mean, they're definitely good points there. I agree. I think there's a lot going for either side of a potential trade like that, especially like I said, the Falcons I don't want these trades to be just switching broken engines, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want that to be what a trade for, say, Baker would have to be. And I think someone like Matt Ryan going to Cleveland would help Matt Ryan as much as it helps Baker getting out. So I did like that trade.
I think that this offseason is going to be big for wide receivers in free agency and quarterbacks and trades. Those are the two things I'm really looking at. Because you got guys like Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Juju, they're all going to be gone. They're all going to be either traded or free agency. I think they could very much be gone. Aaron Rodgers apparently might be an Eagle next year. I don't know why that's suddenly a thing, but it's suddenly a thing. I'm very conflicted on how I feel about that one.
Depends on how bad he loses in the Super Bowl if he gets there.
My issue is that he's old. I mean, it's an MVP caliber player, and then he's a very restricted free agent. Like his contract is very restrictive.
Oh,
he has to be traded. Like the team, Green Bay has to get something back for him, and that's very iffy for me. But Aaron Rodgers might be moving around Devontae Adams. I think this is going to be a big offseason for receivers and quarterbacks, and that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. Because you can get any other player in the draft this year. I feel like receivers are kind of down, and the free agency is going to be huge for them. Then quarterbacks are definitely down, and a lot of teams need quarterbacks this year. So, see.
Well, I don't have much to say about the offseason right now. I think as the season ends, I'll have more to talk about. But yeah.
Let's review the playoffs with 2 weeks left. Let's start with the AFC. Chiefs.
What?
Fine.
What?
High
Were we
low.
just roasting the Chiefs a couple weeks ago and how they sucked? How are they the top seed? What is this?
I thought he was confused.
I don't like the Chiefs. I hate them. I borderline hate them. They're the 1 seed. I think they're going to take it the rest of the season. That kind of upsets me. But
I mean, who's going to take it from them is the better question.
I mean, Tori, who's the number 2 seed?
Titans.
No, the Titans are about to lose. The Titans are about to lose their last 2. They're not going to take
They're
it.
sitting there at the 2 seed, 10-5. They still don't have Derrick Henry yet. I'm honestly surprised. I thought they were going to fall off a mountain without Derrick Henry. They're playing okay.
They played better than we thought, but
They're not really winning greatly. Like they're all tight, contested games.
They've been squeezing out wins, like Green Bay has been recently. They've been just eking out wins.
Bengals.
They might not be there in 2 games. They might.
I actually think Cincinnati is the team to watch out for. I think if there's any team that's going to give Kansas City a run for their money, it's going to be the Colts, the Bills, and the Bengals.
Okay, let's just chill out. They're getting a lot of hype lately by beating the Ravens practice squad guys. So let's just I'm going to pump the brakes on the Bengals a little bit. I think they're a very good team. I said it earlier in the pod. I don't think they're going to get it done this year. They might get it done in a year or 2. Their O-line's still horrible. We've seen what happens when they're on. Like, they have the offensive firepower. We've seen what they can do. But they allowed a lot of points to the Ravens' 3rd-string quarterback. They could still absolutely lose the division in the next 2 games. They're super inconsistent this year. I'm just not sold on them.
I think that's very valid points. I think in hindsight, the Bengals are a very all or nothing team. So I could see the Patriots are kind of similar. Like it feels all or nothing with Cincinnati and New England. It
feels like that, but it's not because they're very much young building teams.
I know, but it's like the way they've been playing this year, despite how young they are, despite like New England's rookie quarterback, it feels all or nothing.
Yeah. I think Joe Burrow is kind of proven a lot of people wrong because a lot of people thought he wasn't going to be very good.
And now he's a Pro Bowl snub.
He's slinging the ball. He's playing well. B. Tori?
Number 4, Bills.
They suck. People are jumping on their hype train again. I am not making that mistake. Do not trust the Bills. I have
poisoned the minds of Bills fans.
Luke broke me. I was so hyped on them in the beginning of the year. They're 9-6. They took the top of the division back. They're playing okay. Josh Allen's played really good. He played super good last game. He played way smarter. He's not trying to play hero ball anymore. But at the same time, I'm just not sold completely on that team. But I hope them the best. I hope they do well. But I cannot stand listening to Luke's idiot face say, I was right if I get on that train again. So, much like the Chargers type train, I am off of both of those trains.
Oh, it's so funny to me.
Number 5, Colts.
Colts hype train. Underdogs. They're the upset team.
Isn't Carson Wentz out next game with COVID, correct?
Yeah, he is.
So that's going to be a loss. Because
I think both Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins are out for their next games.
Yeah. The Eagles get so much random help. It's weird.
I hate it. The worst possible time.
We'll get there later.
Worst possible time.
Colts. I'm really interested in this because if they play a backup quarterback and he puts up similar numbers to what Carson Wentz does, and they still win that game, it'll stand my point that Carson Wentz is freaking crap and that team is just good around him. So at this point, I kind of want the Colts to win. But with Carson Wentz, that defense is amazing. The O-line's amazing. Jonathan Taylor's been a beast. I'm more convinced that they're a better team. I'm still not convinced that they're going to do good in the playoffs because you can't rely heavily on a running back in the playoffs, as we've seen with like guys like Derrick Henry. Because if we could, then players like Adrian Peterson would have like 5 rings, but he doesn't. Derrick Henry would have 2. He doesn't.
I'm not saying
rely heavily on a running back in the postseason.
I don't think anyone's saying the Colts are going to get a ring this year. I haven't heard that sentiment from anybody.
You are not listening to the right people.
I guess not, because as much as I'd like how the Colts have been playing, I think they're good for an upset, maybe 2, but I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl because I think Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl. But
Biased. 6 Patriots.
I still think they're a very good team. They kind of had like an off game. Mac Jones kind of getting his humble moment where he's like remembering, I'm not a superstar. I am a rookie quarterback. The team is getting beat up a little bit. It still has no offensive weapons. Like really. Like their best offensive player is maybe Hunter Henry. The receivers are getting a little bit better. The running backs still aren't really great. They need to get an offensive weapon, which with this free agency class, they definitely could get somebody. But
I don't know what to think.
Heavily, but
I don't know what to think about the Patriots right now. I might have said that the last episode we did, but I don't know what to think about the Patriots.
Number 7, Dolphins.
Boo, sold.
I cannot believe it.
Dude, they've won like, I think it's like 9 straight or 7 straight games.
So y'all can
that's
kill
it.
me. I'm adding to this because right now I'm actually on the Miami Dolphins hype train. Like I'm going with it. I don't know. But I get a good feeling about them. So I'm just
They have not beaten a starting quarterback in like 6 straight games. They have played the Jets. They played Joe Flacco on the Jets. They played the backup on the Saints. Like they have not gotten lucky and played a starting quarterback. They have gotten so lucky. They have beaten up a bunch of backup quarterbacks. Like the last time they beat a starter was when they beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
And that's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
I cannot name another starter that they've beaten since then.
But hey, at least it doesn't look like they're going to get Tua out of Miami. He looks decent, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think he's like first in the league in completion percentage right now. So, but I mean, yes, market Tua. He is your future guy. Yes, I definitely want Miami to keep Tua. He totally just needs to stay there. Don't trade for anybody good or anyone that might be worse than Tua. You just don't know.
Number 8, Ravens.
All right, we're looking at the in the
Nope.
hunt teams.
Nope.
Ravens, no. 2 injured. Lamar Jackson is not healthy. I am not convinced with that team. But at this point, they're just
bad.
boosting Tyler Huntley's reputation.
Number 9, Chargers.
Off the hype train, they're not consistent enough. They're just not. They need some help. They need some work.
I definitely think there's a world where the Chargers make it in. Is it this one? Who knows? But I think, yeah, they've got pretty low chances.
Moving on to the NFC. Number 1, Packers.
I need them to lose once.
Squeaking by.
I
They're
need them to lose
squeaking through
once.
games.
If they
No,
could
they-
just lose one game.
They're going to be the 1 seed. The Packers are going to be the 1 seed. It's going to happen. They're playing the Vikings without Kirk Cousins, and I forget who they end the year off. I think it's
It's the Bears.
They're not going to lose another game.
Ugh.
Not going to happen.
Kirk,
But
why did you get COVID now? Dallas
Yeah.
needs you.
here's the worst part. Not only did he get COVID, he self-reported himself for COVID. He didn't even try to get away with it. He self-reported himself.
Hey, that makes them look good though.
It does, but he could have pulled an Antonio Brown with that fake COVID card.
I have been supporting Minnesota in weeks that no one else has been. And this is how they repay the Dallas fan by not helping Dallas and beating Green Bay. Because I thought they would have done it. If they had Kirk Cousins healthy, Minnesota would have beat Green Bay. Mark my words.
No.
Number 2, I wonder who. It's the Cowboys.
Well, they're about to lose 2 straight and drop to
They're
the
about
3rd seed, so it really doesn't matter.
Finish the season on 2 wins. I need the Packers to lose 1. Need the Packers to lose one, and Dallas takes the 1 seed.
Dude, I honestly think y'all might actually blow a game off against the Eagles at the end of the year and lose that game because you're gonna want to rest your stars for the postseason.
This feels like you're just creating the perfect scenario to get your 1 win against Dallas this year. But
I mean, it's kind of been going pretty well for the Eagles the last couple of weeks.
it's been going pretty well for the Cowboys too. So.
I'm not saying anything because I don't want to jinx anything. But Cowboys. Number 3, Rams.
What? Another team where it's like the Chiefs. Were we just talking about how they sucked and were middle of the pack?
And now they're back.
How were they 11-4?
I don't know. You should be happy for this. You said the Rams were good at the beginning of all this.
Yeah, I know what I said. I didn't want them to be better than the Cardinals.
4, Buccaneers.
This is the one team Dallas cannot tie with. If they tie with
Tom Brady, die. Retire.
If Dallas ties if Dallas ties with only Tampa Bay, we lose the head-to-head. So we lose that tiebreaker. But if Dallas is in a 3-way tie, or if they're tied with I think if they're tied with both the Packers and the Bucks, Dallas gets the 1 seed.
It's crazy what that one loss would do to you. You get one more loss and you drop all the way down to the 4th or 5th seed.
Luke,
it's crazy.
Your love-hate relationship is with the Vikings. My love-hate relationship is with Tampa Bay.
I can't. This is the worst possible time to get COVID, Kirk. You're like one of 3 teams that have beaten Green Bay already.
Calm down. We're getting to him. Come on.
You can rant. You can have it.
You want the rant? Luke, you can take the rant today.
Yeah, I'll take the rant.
Number 5, Cardinals.
Stop being hurt. They're so injured. It's horrible.
No, it's fine. They can keep being hurt. No, that's fine with me.
They're so beat up. I'm sorry, but man.
You can stay beat up for another week. It's fine.
Playing the Cowboys tomorrow. I forgot about that.
Number 6, 49ers.
Keep winning. If they keep winning, that bottom playoff spot is still open. 49ers, I've hated you all season. I've said you're overrated. Just win your last couple of games. Please.
This is the 49ers, I think Philadelphia and the San Francisco are the 2 dark horses of the NFC.
Oh yeah. Well, not Minnesota, but definitely.
I said Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Yes, definitely Philadelphia.
Number 7, by a snake, Eagles.
Hope you're ready to lose to Dallas again.
It won't happen, but anyway,
double your points.
At the Eagles,
doubled your points.
They're doing really good right now. The Eagles are doing really good. We got a couple of easy games coming up against Washington and the Cowboys. I think we need the 49ers to beat Houston, and we need the Vikings to lose, and then we're set in the playoffs. That's it. That's all we need. We need Houston to not do whatever they did against the Chargers. We don't want that. 49ers need to beat Houston, and then Green Bay needs to beat the Vikings, and we're in. There's 5 or 6 different scenarios we're in, but that's the most likely one. That's all we need. We just need that one, and we have to win. Of course, we have to beat Washington. So
I'm going to be honest. If you don't beat Washington, I am going to give you so much crap next episode.
Who knows? But we've looked really good. A bunch of our players are kind of coming into their own and looking really nice right now. Quez Watkins has been looking good. Dallas Goedert looks good. Our defense has looked amazing. Darius Slay's been locked down all season. He's an all-pro. That's what he deserved. Jason Kelsey, Pro Bowl. Jason Kelsey's in the Pro Bowl. It's going to be very good. I think we look really nice right now.
In the hunt, number 8, Vikings.
They're about to drop another loss. Kirk Cousins is out. Dalvin Cook, I think, is beat up. Their defense has been below average this year. They're falling out.
For our listeners, Luke is hanging his head in defeat.
Yeah, he's 1 week. Wait it out.
Number 9, Falcons.
How the fuck are they there? How are the Falcons in a freaking position to be in the playoffs? What is this? Dude, Luke, when you said that division was a bunch of who cares, you weren't kidding, because the Falcons are in the playoff race right now. They're almost at 500. How are the Falcons almost at 500? All I've heard about them is the fact that their defense is horrible and they have no offensive weapons. No offensive weapons. I'm sorry. I've had 3 what the fuck moments in this podcast with doing this. The Chiefs, the Rams, and the Falcons. What the fuck?
All right, so let's review last week's picks. Last week, Nick went 11-6, Luke went 14-4, and I went 15-3. So let's review this week 17's pick'em.
There's no Thursday game. It was weird.
Yeah, there were no Thursday games.
No Thursday
Quite odd. Atlanta at Buffalo.
Buffalo is a huge favorite. I win Buffalo. I did not lock them. I considered it, but I'm not on that train anymore.
I don't know. The Falcons are a playoff caliber team, apparently.
I don't understand.
I went Buffalo. New York Giants at Chicago.
Who cares?
Chicago.
Yeah, who
Battle of
cares?
the bottom feeders. I think Chicago will win.
I just don't want the Giants to win anything.
The Giants are throwing it now. They're trying to lose everything. So
Kansas City at Cincinnati.
This is one of the bigger games, right?
Underdog
Yes.
Cincinnati. So bad.
Oh,
No, I think Cincinnati, I think they could do it, but I don't know for sure.
okay. So actually, Nick says he considered underdogging me. I did underdog it.
That's
completely fair.
I wanted to. I really did. But at the same time, Cincinnati's just been so inconsistent this year. I feel like after a huge win like that, they're going to lay up a goose egg.
It's 50-50. Heads or tails. Make your choice.
Actually, it's -4.5 plus 4.5. But
it's 50-50. Make your choice.
I picked Kansas City. I would actually kind of be happy if Kansas City lost. But
Miami at Tennessee.
I'm underdogging Miami.
Miami's actually going to play a starting quarterback. I picked Tennessee.
I went Miami. I originally had underdogged Miami, but looking at it, I decided to underdog Cincinnati.
I got to go with Miami here. They're, despite what the teams they have been playing, they are on a win streak. They're a pretty hot team right now. And the Titans, let's be honest, in their last 5, they're 2-3, and they're struggling to stay on top of their division without King Henry. Give me the Dolphins.
But it's a starting quarterback. Miami, even against a beat up Saints team, they still kind of struggled to score. Jalen Waddles looked really good. I don't know. I think Tennessee's defense is going to hold out. I'm going to go Tennessee.
Las Vegas at Indianapolis.
Colts.
The Colts will win. The Raiders are dying. So
Jacksonville.
It's like that every year.
Jacksonville at New England.
New England
Patriots
better win this. They
I
better
thought
win this.
I take the easy lock. New
Oh,
England.
that's plus 15.5. Definitely an easy lock. But
I was gonna say easy
I
lock.
didn't them, but yeah, I definitely think New England's gonna absolutely destroy them.
Carolina at New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah.
Carolina and New Orleans.
I picked
New Orleans.
I say New Orleans.
It's
Y'all
New
say
Orleans.
I say New
Yeah.
Orleans.
New Orleans.
It's the same thing either way. It
Fine,
doesn't
I'll say
matter.
New Orleans.
Bengals.
All right, go back. Carolina at New Orleans.
New
I'll
Orleans.
take the Saints. They have a Pro Bowl running back.
I picked the Saints because Carolina doesn't have a quarterback.
I've been doing this for weeks. Tampa Bay at New York Jets.
I'm surprised this isn't bigger. I am honestly shocked. New England is favored over Jacksonville more than Tampa Bay is over the Jets. I think that's crazy. I mean, it's still 12.5, but
The Jets were the only team that could beat a team with double-digit wins for 2 weeks or whatever. I don't remember.
Tampa Bay will absolutely own this game.
Tampa Bay. Philadelphia at Washington. I wonder who Nick will pick.
I locked Philly. I locked Philadelphia because Washington's really beat up still. They just got absolutely destroyed by the Cowboys, and whatever the Cowboys can do, the Philly can do better. So
Yeah.
Philly
All right,
over the
8-7,
Cowboys.
9-7.
Denver at LA Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers
I
here.
picked the Chargers because Denver's just bad. They have Drew Lock at quarterback right now. I'm not scared of them.
Houston at San Francisco.
Or
Come on, San
Niners.
Francisco, come on.
Yeah.
Get
This
the
will,
Eagles to a playoff spot. Let's do it. Come on.
as much as I hate it, Philadelphia's going to get all the help they need this week.
Yes, they are.
Arizona at Dallas. I wonder who Luke will pick.
I lock Dallas.
I underdogged Arizona.
Oh my gosh. I went Dallas. Detroit at Seattle.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Bears.
I picked Seattle.
Yeah.
Detroit's Detroit, but wouldn't be surprised either way.
LA Rams at Baltimore.
Oh, the Rams are going to blow up Baltimore. It's going to be
This shouldn't be close. This should not be close.
I don't understand how this is -3.5. It's going to be either Tyler Huntley or an injured Lamar Jackson. So I
And it's pretty much like confirmed to be Huntley at this point.
Minnesota at Green Bay.
come on, Green Bay. Come
If
on.
Kirk Cousins was playing, Minnesota would have won this game.
No,
But they're not because Kirk Cousins has COVID.
the line's gone up.
So Dallas doesn't get any help.
It was -7.5 when it was Kirk Cousins. I think now it's like -15.5 or something like. It's something ridiculous.
I went Green Bay as much as I hate to say it. I went Green Bay.
Eagles are making the playoffs, boys. Let's do it.
Need Green Bay to lose one.
I'd like to be wrong on this pick. I
Me
would
too.
like to be wrong.
This would be the happiest week of my life if Dallas got the lock to win over Arizona and Minnesota beat Green Bay.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
So it should be Cleveland, right? Like
I think it should be
Cleveland should win.
They should. Will they? Who knows? That division is so screwed up at this point. I don't even know what to do anymore. But I pick Cleveland. We'll see how it goes.
And that's it. So I think it is time for Luke's rant.
First
So-
rant of the new year.
I am
Oh,
giving
Luke.
you
Here,
5 minutes.
I will do you one favor. I am going to mute, and you have this whole time 5 minutes to yourself.
I'm giving you 5 minutes. I am setting a timer. Give me just 1 second so I can set up a timer. And this whole 5 minutes, you will be uninterrupted. All right?
Okay.
Go.
Kirk, man, really? We need Green Bay to lose one game and Dallas to win out. And Dallas gets the 1 seed. But of course, this would be the game Kirk Cousins goes out with COVID. Of course. Look, I get when we started this, it was week 8 and Dallas beat you then. I'm sorry. That's just how it had to be. But I defended you against the Chargers. I defended you against teams like the Packers and the Steelers and you're one of 3 teams that have already beaten Green Bay. 3. And if Kirk Cousins was healthy, they would have done it again. But of course, Philadelphia over there gets all the help and Dallas doesn't. Because it's always going to be the world against Dallas. But that's a minute gone. I still have 4. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Dallas is, fine. I told you they'd be fine. You didn't believe me. Dallas will beat Philadelphia in the first round if things stay the way they are. I'm just going to say it. Against Washington, Dak threw for 330. Cooper Rush threw for 70 yards. They had no interceptions. Dallas run game looked dominant. Dak was extending plays with his legs. Pollard and Elliott were getting first. Elliott had a touchdown running and receiving. Kellen Moore, with a healthy team, was able to expand the playbook. Dallas is fine. I don't know what you want me to say. Dallas in the game against Washington had 9 different receivers. And 5 of those 9, including Elliott and Terrence Steele, had a touchdown. Dallas is fine. Like, I get if you want to say it was against Washington, Dallas is a team with the caliber to do that to anybody. But I do want to point this out. Back to Dak. I've got 3 minutes. Dak's throwing form. He's using his whole body again. He looks healthy again. You could see when he was throwing against Washington in previous games, he's like leaned back, his body's at an angle. Against Washington, he's like into it. He's dynamic, right? He's using his legs again. He's throwing across his body. He looks like Dak Prescott. This team will win the Super Bowl. Especially if we get an officiating crew like we had against Washington. Dallas had 3 penalties for a combined 15 yards. They had a perfect fourth down efficiency and a roughly 67% third down efficiency. If we can get those numbers on third and fourth without penalties, Dallas could beat anybody in the league, and it's not close. It's not close. We're healthy. We're on a win streak. If we get those good crews, Dallas will win the Super Bowl. I've been saying it all year. And Tyron Smith was out. Like, we're getting another great lineman. Dallas is the best team in the league. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care if they just played Washington. It doesn't matter to me. Dallas is the best team in the league. We had the best line in the league. That's a good first rant. What did that say? Hold on, you got to hold that back up. I didn't see it.
He said no. So Nick.
No.
Nick, all right, Nick. Luke, you
I
have.
hadn't even talked about the defense. I still had a minute left.
Okay, then go ahead. You can have your minute. I'm sorry.
Give him a minute to talk about the defense.
He has a minute and 26 seconds. That's where he was at. Go ahead. Remute.
I hadn't even talked about the defense yet. Come on, man. Diggs and Lawrence had an interception. Parsons, Lawrence, Curse had more sacks, and they weren't the only ones. Keanu Neal and Kelvin Joseph had 3 tackles. They led the teams. And Neal and I'm probably going to butcher it. Neal and Kazi, sorry if I butcher it, both had 3 tackles and 2 assists and led the team. The defense is on fire. The Tank Lawrence is a monster. The things this team, the pieces that they put together, when you have guys on defense like Parsons, Diggs, Tank, these guys create a crushing defense. That's a caliber that will defeat anybody in the league. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And then you couple it with an offense that can shoot out anybody in the league. Like, what more do you want from a team that's in Super Bowl contention? Dallas will win the Super Bowl. And when they do, don't come crying to me.
All right, thank Luke. Oh, God. All right, Luke, thank you for your beautiful, lovely rant full of BS. But
that was fun. That was a good first rant of the year.
If you guys are listening on Spotify or iHeart, Nick just constantly held up a sign saying no over and over again.
That's not to get my opinion in.
Yeah, because that's the only thing he has. That's the only thing he can say. He doesn't have anything to actually back it up. He just says no.
No, I have stuff to back it up, but I'm not allowed to because that's your rant. I'll give you the first rant. When the Cowboys lose in the first round, we'll continue this on. Anyway,
not to Philadelphia.
Moving on to end the episode. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to another episode of the All-Star Trio podcast.
The first episode of 2020.
2022.
All right, to end this episode, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to another episode of this All-Star Trio podcast. You can follow us on iHeart and Spotify. We're also up on YouTube if you want to see our faces for some reason. Follow us on all the socials. We are everywhere. We are TikTok. We are Instagram. We are Snapchat. We are Twitter. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. How many times can I say it at the end of this episode?
Keywords, baby.
Like, subscribe.
Leave a comment. Hit the bell.
Thank you for listening. Farewell.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
Podcast